So this one time, these two young men were walking into the woods to go smoke some of the devil's lettuce. So they find a spot and they go to start smoking on it. Sure enough, cop smells it because it stinks. Cop goes and finds him and comes upon him and says, "Young man, you know this is illegal. You know you're not supposed to be doing this." So long story short, they end up getting arrested. So they end up having to go to court. They get in front of the judge. Judge looks at him and says, "You know, you guys are really kind of young men. You know this is against the law." He says, "And it's got a high penalty." He says, "But since you are so young, I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to give you another date, 10 days from now. And if you can convince people to not do drugs, maybe I can lessen the charges." So 10 days go by. They go back to the court. They go up. So the judge says, "I hope you guys have done something." He says, "So you, young man, what have you done?" He says, "Well, Your Honor," he says, "I thought really hard and thought about it." He says, "And I come up with a drawing to convince 15 people to quit marijuana." The judge says, "Wow, that's really impressive. What'd you do?" He says, "Well, I made a drawing, and you'll probably recognize it, and it says, this is your brain before drugs, and this is your brain after drugs." And that was enough to convince everybody. Judge says, "Wow, that's really, really impressive." He says, "I think we can nolly this," he says, "and move on. Just don't do it again." So now he brings up the other gentleman, and he says, "How about you?" He says, "Well, Your Honor," he says, "I did something similar to him." He says, "But I convinced 150 people to never, ever want to do drugs." Judge says, "Wow, that is really impressive. How'd you do that?" He says, "Well, like I said, I was very similar to what he did there, but I told him, this is your asshole before jail. This is your asshole after jail.